So this week I've got two albums for us. The only reason I said we could do two albums is in cases of like they were made during the same like production cycle or like uses of like the studios, because as you may know, our very first episode of album review we did Load and Reload by Metallica. Well, those came out a year apart. They were made in the same sessions. Like, they were supposed to just be one big album, but they said nah. Because they were already pushing the limits of a CD with those. Because those were long fucking albums. And then Guns N' Roses, actually, like, years before them, in 1991, I'm pretty sure? Was that the year, or was it 92?
91.
91, okay. They released these two albums on the exact same day. Use Your Illusion 1 and 2. So, I don't know many artists that do, like, the double release on the same day. This was very interesting to kind of look into this. And, so Guns N' Roses, we all know them. Like,
yeah.
I feel like most people are familiar with them if you're a fan of rock music in general.
Yeah.
Zach did an Artist of the Week on them back in the day, so if you've been around a while, you've already heard his thoughts on them. So, like, coming off their first album, which, Appetite for Destruction, like, it's a banger, man. Like, come on.
I've never listened to Guns N' Roses album in full.
Oh, okay.
But Appetite for Destruction is the one that I know the most tracks off of before doing these album reviews. So this was kind of, I guess, a first full introduction into them, to be honest, even though I've known them for so long.
Yeah, I'd say so.
Because a lot of content here.
A lot of stuff.
30 songs.
Yep. 2.5 hours of music right here. Because, again, CD era, just pack as much shit on it as you possibly can, because you can fit up to 80 minutes of material on a CD.
Yeah.
So, fuck it. Just pack it up, is what they were saying.
So, I guess we'll try to get through each song kind of quick. Since
there's quite a few. This is going to be a little bit of a longer episode just because of that, but there's a lot of songs to go over and a lot of interesting stuff to talk about here to see what they were doing in the early 90s after the biggest shit ever.
Mm-hmm.
What shall we begin?
Sure.
Alright, what's the opening track?
So the opening track on Use Your Illusion 1 is Right Next Door to Hell.
This one's alright.
This song's okay. It's very fast paced, just
yeah,
throws you right into it. But
this album's a lot more experimental for Guns N' Roses. Both of these, really. Because, like, in their first album, it was mostly, like, that hard rock energy, a little bit of, like, kind of hair metal-esque stuff thrown in there, but they aren't a hair metal band. They're just, like, a hard rock, like, classic rock at this point type of band.
This song, a lot of these songs, like the faster paced ones that just didn't change tempo for most of the song, reminded me a lot of, like, Motley Crue sound.
Yeah.
I don't know much Motley Crue music either, but, like, that specific genre of, like, rock from that era never really was something that I
not a
got
big hair
into
metal
that
guy.
much. Yeah, so
understandable.
So on this, at least I remember on this first album of the two, there was quite a few songs that had that kind of style to them.
Yeah.
And this was one of them. So I get throwing it right in the beginning just to get the energy up right at the beginning, get it started.
Yeah.
So that was cool about it, but I didn't really love the sound of the song that much.
Yeah, there's like some metal aspects through these songs, some like slower moments. Like these albums, like there's some punk even, but like not much.
Yeah.
But what's the next track? Dust and Bones.
Dust and Bones.
That one's okay. Like, it's a little better than the last track, but
Yeah,
I'm
this one was
still not a
pretty
huge
good.
fan of it.
The message was basically like, do whatever you want in life because we'll all be dust and bones in the end. So, I mean, that was cool.
Yeah.
But, yeah, it wasn't like anything crazy, but I think it did sound a little bit better than the first song.
Yeah. I'd say so.
And then the third track is one that I was familiar with. It's the cover of Live and Let Die.
Ah, yes.
I guess it's Wings song.
Paul McCartney and the Wings
Paul
song.
McCartney, yeah. So it sounds very similar to the original, but it's got, a Guns N' Roses sound, and it's actually not too bad. But
yeah, I actually enjoy this cover. I love the original a lot more.
Yeah, me too.
But I do like that. I do like this cover.
Yeah. Track 4 is Don't Cry, the original version, which this song is one of the only songs I've actually knew off of this album before this.
Yeah, this is one of the big hits off the album, for sure.
And yeah, it's a really good song.
I really like Don't Cry. I think this is a really nice one.
Great. Honestly, the singing sounds really cool in this song.
Mm-hmm.
Like just
this has like a southern rock sound too. It gives off Skynyrd at times.
Definitely.
But it's really fucking good.
Guitar solo is great. Slash is really good on all the solos on these albums.
Slash, like...
He's killing it.
He's just... I fucking love Slash. He's one of my favorite guitarists from this era, just because his sound is just so good. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But the next track is Perfect Crime.
I kind of like Perfect Crime.
Yeah, this wasn't one of my favorites.
Yeah.
It was another very fast-paced one.
Yeah, some of their fast-paced stuff I do actually really like, though.
Okay.
Like, especially in, like, the second album has, like, some more fast-paced stuff that I think is pretty good.
Yeah. But yeah, not too much to say about that song. Kind of has the same vibe to it throughout. Not much of, like, a flow up and down or anything, but it's a sound, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
The next track is You Ain't the First. This one was, like, super country.
Yeah, this one was really interesting.
Then I think it had, like, harmonica in it, didn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Or actually, am I thinking of a different song? I know there were like 2 tracks off this album.
Yeah.
I think this track and the next one both sound very country.
Yeah.
And I think it might be the second track that had the harmonica, but yeah,
Mhm.
this one was like really stripped down compared to all the songs so far on the album.
Mm-hmm.
I think it might have even been acoustic guitar.
Yeah, definitely. Like,
Yeah.
they change up a lot of sounds in this album.
Yeah, they go through a couple different genres.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it didn't sound bad. It was different.
Yeah.
And then yeah, Bad Obsession, the next one. This one was decent.
I thought this was not a bad one at the end of the day. Like,
Yeah.
I enjoy this one quite a bit.
This was the one with the harmonica. It was
Yeah.
a cool little throw in there.
Mm-hmm. I do like it, though. I don't know, some of this, like, slower stuff just works for me, too.
Yeah, definitely. I think that the slower songs on the album were needed and they were spaced out well. Like,
Yeah.
they didn't just throw 4 tracks in a row that were the same sound.
Yeah, they change it up on you a lot.
Yeah. But the next track's Back Off Bitch.
I actually really like this one. It's a
Yeah.
fun one.
It's funny.
I think it's about his ex-wife.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that was about Axel's ex-wife, and he was just like, "Fuck off, I'm done with your shit."
Yeah, that's funny.
Yeah, and another reason these albums like weren't as popular as Appetite for Destruction is because they couldn't sell these in like Target because there's a lot of swearing on this album compared to their first album.
Yeah.
So they went for like definitely more of a hardcore, like gritty sound in these 2 albums.
Yeah, definitely. The next track is Double Talkin' Jive.
I really like this one. This is one of the songs I knew off this album before we listened to these albums.
Yeah.
This was one of those songs I knew, and it's a really fast-paced one, and I really like it.
Yeah.
It's a short one.
It's short, and then the lyrics end like halfway through the song, and then the last half of the song is just all instrumental, but it sounds really great.
This one is probably one of my favorites off User Illusion 1 for sure. I fucking
agree.
love this one.
Definitely. And the next track is one that we're very familiar with, November Rain.
The biggest hit off both these albums. Like, everybody knows November Rain if you're like a Guns N' Roses fan.
Yeah.
One of the longest songs too, but it's a banger.
It's like a ballad.
Yeah, very ballady. It's got like
It's
different
got piano
movements.
in it,
Mhm.
too.
Very slow,
Yeah.
but very good song. I like this one.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's like the only other song. This and Don't Cry were the only songs I knew off of this first album.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I thought this one was very good.
The Garden is like a slower one, and I
Yeah.
like that one. Garden of Eden was okay though.
Yeah, Garden of Eden was the one I didn't like.
Yeah.
Too.
Then the next one, Don't Damn Me, that one's just weird.
Yeah, I hated the vocals.
Yeah, sometimes Axel, like, he already has like a really high-pitched nasally voice, but like sometimes it just gets like ridiculous, and songs like this
Yeah.
one I was not a fan of.
Yeah.
And the next one's my least favorite off this album, at least Bad Apples.
Really?
I
Least favorite?
fucking hate the sound of this one personally.
Okay.
It's got like he's doing like a weird hickash sound, and like I don't know, it's just really weird to listen to.
Yeah, that one was different. Definitely different from the rest.
Yeah,
Dead Horse.
Dead Horse is alright.
I thought the
Like
guitar on the intro was a nice sound because it was again slower. It was more isolated,
yeah,
like stripped down. But then, yeah, not too much stands out about the song really in the end.
yeah.
Not great.
And then there's the closing track, Coma.
Long as shit.
Yeah, over 10 minutes. I actually kind of like this one. It's a really
Cool
interesting
idea.
concept behind it. Like the guy just like getting like a procedure done on him, like because he's in a coma. They're trying to get him out of it,
Yeah.
and then like you have like his inner thoughts coming into it.
And you could hear people in the hospital like talking while they're trying to resuscitate him and shit.
Yeah, I think it's a
It was
really
a cool
cool
idea.
concept.
A little longer than I think it needed to be.
True.
It didn't quite feel like an outro, but maybe it's because it wasn't really one.
Yeah.
'Cause there was a whole other album still to come.
Yeah,
So.
but right before we start that one, I'd say Use Your Illusion 1, good, not a good album, but
No.
not a good album, but it's got some stuff in it I do really like. I think it has a lot of bright spots in an album with a lot of duds to me, though.
Yeah, a little handful of like classic songs to me actually. Like
Yeah.
Don't Cry is a great song to me.
Yeah.
November Rain is obviously a great song. And, you know, The Live and Let Die is a good song to begin with, so the cover of it's cool.
Yeah, and then there's other songs on here I really like Back Off Bitch, Double Talkin' Jive, and then like The Garden is really good. And Coma, if it was a little shorter, would be better, but like I really like Coma. So like this album not too bad, but not a great album by any means. Not I wouldn't even say good, but like not bad. I wouldn't say it's bad.
My rating for it feels a little harsh.
Yeah, should we do the rating for it now, or should we wait for rate them both at the
I
end?
feel like we should rate them right after we talk about
Okay.
them.
So what do you give Use Your Illusion 1?
I'm going to give it a 5.5.
Alright.
But, like, there were definitely a lot of moments that I do enjoy on this album. Like, the big tracks I was talking about. But some of the tracks that I didn't like all blended together for me and had very Motley Crue vibe, and that's just not something I'm into personally.
Yeah, I was thinking that originally, but I'm gonna give it a 6.
Okay.
Cause like a lot of good songs on here, but like there's a lot of not good songs on here too. So
If it was shorter,
yeah,
and maybe just some songs were shorter, honestly, like the tracks themselves were just quite long.
yeah. Cause again, it's that '90s era of throw everything on an album. We talked about this the same year these came out. Not Guns N' Roses. Red Hot Chili Peppers had Blood Sugar Sex Magic. Like that album, there's a lot of good songs on it, but it's way too long.
Yeah, it is.
Like the back end of that album just has so much filler on it to me. But that's an album.
Their
that's,
later albums is where they cut out a lot of the
yeah,
filler.
but again, it's just a product of that CD era.
Yeah.
Which I guess we'll talk about the next album now, Use Your Illusion 2, which came out again the same day.
Same day. So
I think it sold a little less than the first one just because it's the second one. But
I knew one song off of the second album. I thought I would have known more off of the second, but I actually only knew songs off the first for some reason.
yeah, I felt the same way because there's a really famous song off this one, which we'll get to momentarily. But first track, Civil War. I really like Civil War.
This one was a very interesting concept.
Like I said, 2 has a lot more slower songs in it to me.
I feel like there was actually more substance behind the lyrics in a lot of these songs.
Yeah.
Because the first album, it felt like they were just kind of going a few different sounds. Like they were going more for sound. It wasn't that much of a vocal focus on this first album, other than a handful of tracks.
Yeah, but this album definitely has like a lot more experimental stuff too, because these two are very much products of like the same sessions.
Yeah. But I kind of think that they did split it up well when I'm thinking back on it.
Oh yeah, I agree. This one's the more aggressive album. This one's the more chill album. Ice Cube kind of did that too. He had a 2 albums which we may do one day. It was the War and Peace Volumes 1 and 2. Like the War one was a lot more of like the heavy hitting stuff, and it had like an orange cover.
Yeah.
And then there's the second one, the Peace Disc, which is more blue. Like has more of the like chill vibe and dancing songs.
Yeah.
So like, it's definitely intentional. So
But
what's the
yeah.
next track after Civil War?
The next track was 14 Years.
This one's decent, but I enjoy it.
Yeah, this one was okay.
Yeah,
Not one of the more memorable ones for me, but
yeah.
it wasn't bad. And the third track is Yesterdays.
I actually liked Yesterday's. This is another really good one.
Yeah, this one was good. And fourth track is the only one I knew off of this album.
Yep, Knocking on Heaven's Door.
Cover.
Another cover song. This is of Bob Dylan's classic version.
And I like this version too.
I like this version a lot. This is the
Just a
first
very good song.
Yeah, another song that like most people could cover and do a good job of. This one has a little bit of a different vibe,
Yeah.
and I like the Bob Dylan one more.
Me too.
But I really like this one.
Yeah, no, it's good. The guitar on like the intro and between the verses is really good on that song. Great.
Definitely.
And the next track is Get in the Ring.
This is another faster one.
I don't like this song very much.
It
I
has
like the first part.
It has an interesting concept to it.
Yeah.
But like, I don't know. Yeah, this one can kind of be seen as like that weird ass like rock metal fusion stuff that it's not that good on this album.
Felt like a spacer in the album. To me,
Yeah.
Because like the first part of the song was good.
Yeah.
But then Axl kind of just starts talking trash halfway through.
Yeah, this one's just him talking a whole lot of shit.
And that's what the rest of the song
And like getting
follows
everyone
it.
else hyped up. So yeah, I can see why people aren't a fan of that. It's interesting to me, but it's not one of my favorite tracks for sure.
It doesn't really feel like it fit on either of the albums. Like
There's
maybe
a few
the first one more.
This
but
this album definitely has a lot of the reject songs that just don't fit anything else,
yeah.
which we'll get to as we go on here.
Sixth track is Shotgun Blues.
This one's a nice song. I think this is actually a pretty good one. This one was like a semi-hit that didn't really take off too well, but I thought it was a good one.
Okay. Yeah, I thought this one was okay overall.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes I felt like the sound was a bit like overwhelming, like too much mixed together at once.
Yeah.
And it was hard to even like distinguish any instruments in there, which I guess it wasn't what they're making it for.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was okay to me.
Yeah, it was alright.
Track 7's a long one though, Breakdown.
Yeah, this one is one of the longer tracks. This one's decent though. I don't think this one needed to be this long though.
It didn't need to be this long, you're right. But
It was alright.
it was at least good guitar.
Yeah, Slash did his
It's
thing
always-
as always.
It's always well done, but it's a little long.
Yeah, and I don't think the rest of the band can really carry compared to Slash.
Yeah, that's really what it is, I guess.
Yeah.
Next one is Pretty Tied Up. This song was
I didn't like this one.
wasn't really anything special.
This album just has a lot of moments, like, right here. Like, the first third of this album I really like, and then it just kind of, like, just drops for me.
Yeah.
Like, that one I didn't really care for. What's after that?
Next one is Locomotive Complicity.
This one's decent, too. Like, this is one of the... This one's not too bad. It's the
It sounds
best,
very
like-
different than anything on the rest of these albums because, like, he was singing in a different way and they were putting different vocal effects on him that kind of sounded like Led Zeppelin to me, like trippy.
Yeah, this one
vibe
had
a little
Zeppelin
bit.
moments on it. It was really strange.
I liked that it was different. Like, it was a change of pace on the album. It sounded kind of cool to me.
Yeah.
But that one was, I think, very long too.
Yeah, it was another long
And
one.
it didn't need to be as long as it was.
Yeah.
But next track is So Fine.
This one's not bad.
I really like the guitar on this.
Yeah.
Song, actually.
Yeah. This was definitely one that I kind of enjoyed more than, like, the other ones in the second third of the album.
And it had like a heavy piano part as well.
Yeah, this one I did enjoy a bit, for sure. But the last third of the album, I actually really like these last few songs coming up here.
I agree.
Yeah, so It's Strange is next, right? That one's really good. It's definitely another one of my favorites off this album. It's a little long again, but like I think this one is pretty good.
This is one that feels like it deserves to be as long as it is.
Yeah.
Some of the other tracks are very long and just the same. For
Yeah.
A long time. Like
Like
this one-
Roma,
this track felt like it could be as long as it was. 'Cause
Yeah.
there were different parts to it.
definitely.
And the guitar just had a very good sound to it that you could fill a lot of time with. Like it was a great sound.
Yeah. The next track is my favorite off this album. Is You
Okay.
Could Be Mine. I
Yeah.
fucking love this song.
This one was really
A
cool.
lot of energy. Starts with like the drums, which is different for Guns N' Roses. They usually start with like the guitar,
Yeah.
but I don't know. I think it was really good.
Yep.
A lot of energy.
It felt like this one felt more 80s to me, whereas a lot of the other stuff felt like they were trying to do something that was more modern, more current time.
Yeah, this one definitely kind of goes like to the hair metal-esque sound,
Yeah.
but I really like it.
No, this was one of my more favorites on the second album, definitely.
Yeah.
And then track 13 is Don't Cry Again.
Don't
but
Cry?
Not
What
the
the
original
hell?
version. Just
Yeah.
another version that's not really named.
Yeah.
But I think that the only difference is we listened to them side by side. It seemed like the guitar was brought more to the front of the mix in this one. So that was the only real difference I noticed. Everything else is the same.
Yeah, I'd say.
So it's your opinion. It's just your preference. Do you want more guitar? Do you want the original with a little less guitar?
Yeah, it's like, what Don't Cry am I feeling today?
Yeah,
type
it's the
of
same
vibe.
song though. So.
Yeah.
And then the last track is My World.
So remember how I said I liked the last third of the album? This song is not included in that. This is like some weird ass ending song. It's like a very minute and a half.
Yeah.
It's
It's a long minute and a half.
It's a very long minute and a half, a very uncomfortable minute and a half of like just weird ass sounds. He's kind of doing like a pre-nu metal thing.
Yeah,
like,
it definitely is a genre that now has existed, but at the time, it maybe nothing sounded like that yet.
There's very few things I could think of that just had that weird ass sound. I mean, Pantera would hop onto the scene and do something a little similar to that, but not really.
It really was like Limp Bizkit sound almost.
Yeah, like it.
But even weirder.
Even stranger than what it would be. Like, it sounded like it was trying really hard.
Yeah.
But I didn't like it.
I don't like where they put it. I respect it if you're gonna have 30 tracks you're releasing. You can just do one that's weird as shit you think might start some new wave or something.
Yeah.
And maybe if this song was the first song to do that, then you kind of did.
Yeah.
But it's very weird where it was placed and not really a good song.
Yeah. So I guess final thoughts. On both of these as a whole, I'll say it's very much reminiscent of when we did Load and Reload.
Yes.
Like, two albums with a lot of mixed bags in there. Like, I don't know. I think this album is very similar to one, but as much as the 1 to 2/3 of this album, I think I like it less than this one.
Really?
Yeah, not by much though, because these albums are very similar to me in like quality wise.
It's all right. It's not bad. I'd say it's almost as good as Use Your Illusion 1.
I'm not the biggest Guns N' Roses fan at the end of the day. Like, I like the first album, it's banging, but Guns N' Roses has just never been that band I really liked. I don't like Axl Rose, really. I think he's a piece of shit. But, like, that's aside, separating the art from the artist at the end of the day, he's got good songs, but sometimes he just gets a little too carried away with his sound, and it doesn't look good or sound good.
The second album, I did actually like it, I think, a tiny bit more than the first overall.
I thought I'd feel the same way about it, honestly.
Just because I think that I liked the guitar kind of pulled heavier on this album.
I agree.
Like, it was more longer, drawn out solos and ballad type feel as opposed to a lot more fast paced songs on the first album.
Yeah.
So I think I just prefer that personally. That's probably the
I
only
usually prefer the softer stuff, but I feel like with Guns N' Roses, I want to hear more of that energy. You want to go to scores?
Yeah, so for this one, I was thinking I'm going to give it like a 6.5.
Okay.
Yeah, I think I just liked it that much more than the other. But on a whole, they're very even. Like, one doesn't really stand out.
Yeah, I agree.
They're just kind of organized how they should be.
Yeah, I'll give them credit where credit's due, but
Yeah.
at the end of the day, I'm giving this album, Use Your Illusion 2, a 5.5. So, like, I gave this a 6 and this a 5.5. Like, they're very close to quality with each other. Like, same amount of misses than hits or so, but I just like more of the hits off this one than this one.
Yep.
That's really it at the end of the day.
Makes sense.
So, Chad,
Oh, shit.
what have you got for the world? What are we listening to this week?
So
Is it
there's
2 albums?
No, it is not 2 albums.
Okay.
There's 2 that I was debating between.
Okay.
I think I'm going to go with the older of 2. And I don't know if you've ever done... I don't think you have done an album review of this band. So we're going to do Radiohead. We're going to do OK Computer from 1997.
Heard a lot of good stuff about this album, and no, we've never done Radiohead.
Hell yeah. I think it's going to be a great introduction, and I think it might be their best work in my opinion.